If you're making money and you're happy, you're going to be sharing it with people. How does that happen, sales? Why am I fired up every single day? You know what? Because I have a Post-it note over there. Today, I am someone's answer. Today, you are someone's answer. Does that fire you up? Whatever product, service you have, whatever gift and talent God's given you to steward, you are the answer to someone's problem. Someone is stuck in the mud and you get to come out with your amazing Ford Raptor, hook them up to you and pull them out into the promised land. How does that not fire people up? Well, fear of man, imposter syndrome, people pleasing, all these negative things that if you're a godly businesswoman, that stuff can't play over here. Sorry, we're serving an audience of one. Welcome to For His Glory CEO, the podcast for high-achieving women like you who have built the business, hit the milestone, checked all the boxes, yet deep down something still feels off. The success is there, but you know God has so much more. I'm your host, Allie. If you're hungry for results rooted in the Word, this is for you. Let's get this party started. All right, you know when we're going to talk sales girls things, I get fired up, and I pray you do too. And I pray after this episode that you feel so charged to go make a sale, okay? So let's make a commitment to each other just from the get-go. I know, we just got started and I already got something called to action for you. Go sell something after this podcast, please. All right, you ready? I'll promise you, you're going to want to go sell something with a whole new fire in your belly after this. So I want to share with you that one of my mentors told me, and I have never forgotten it to this day. In fact, I keep it on a Post-it note in my office. Are you ready? Just to show you proof. Here's the Post-it note. This Post-it note says, do nothing but sell until you hit 1 million in revenue. Get on the phone! Exclamation point underlined twice. That's what it says, friends. This single advice to do nothing but sell till I hit 1 million in revenue was one of the exact keys that helped me hit 1 million in revenue in my first business. And it's the focus that I had and the blinders on, head down that I could do to drive that to multiple 7-figure business. Now, I'm going to break down 3 incredible questions to ask when you get on the phone with people to drive your business to 1 million. Are you excited? All right. So first of all, we need to talk about what that even looks like to sell 1 million before I give you my questions. And I got all my questions on a Post-it note because you better believe these are still things that I use in my business. And if we had a sales conversation, you're going to see that I use these when I talked with you. Why? Because they're smart. And they are what sales girls of excellence do to get answers to the test, to be able to over-deliver on what people's needs are. And if you can't fulfill their needs, you're going to find them the right person that can. And so it's even more important that you're listening and guiding people through a sale. Okay? So if we are going after our first million, and even if you're going after your second million, these things need to be dialed as a firm foundation. But you need to master these 3 things. And then I'm going to give you the 3 questions I love to ask. So number 1, you want to master your warm outreach. Okay? People talk about their reach on social media and they're like, oh, I only have 3,000 followers and but I need 10,000 followers. I'm like, are those 3,000 even buying from you yet? Because if you can't sell to the 3,000 you have, what's the deal to get 10K, right? If you can't sell to the ones that you have, getting 10,000 isn't going to help your problem. You have a sales problem. So your warm audience are those that have already bought from you. They've already known, like, and trust you, and they've already bought you for something. So make sure that you master the reach outs to those people. They will help you hit that first million in revenue. Promise you that. All the cold people, all the brand new people, it's going to take a longer time through the buyer's process, which we know right now we're like in a trust recession, right? It's taking a whole lot longer for people to make decisions. Probably has to do with the whole fake book stuff, right? The hype market, all the things. So master the reach outs in your warm market. Number 2, content. So if you listen to a couple episodes back, the 3 C's, connect, create, contribute, your content has to be after you've connected with people. The best time to go make a social media post is when you get a big fat no. But if you don't know why someone told you no for your products or services, then you can't create content that's really going to hit. right? So when we make content, we got to make sure that we have the answers to the test. I'm going to give you one of my favorite questions, okay? If someone tells you no, and you're going to get 100 no's a day if you really go hard for this. So embrace the no's. The no's are great. You're closer to a yes. If someone gives you a no, ask them, thank you so much, Shelly, for your time. I so appreciate it. May I please ask you, what would have made this a yes? What would have made this a yes? Here's the things, friends. Sometimes we get so excited sharing our offers, our programs, our services, we just forget maybe a simple thing. So maybe she says, oh, it would have made a yes if I knew that the time of these calls would really fit for me, or I could watch the recording. Oh my goodness, forgive me. Yes, the time is 10 o'clock on Tuesdays, and absolutely everything is recorded, and you can watch it over whenever you want. You'll always have access to it. Right? Simple things, simple things. I need to know if the products are vegan. Okay, yes, thank you so much for asking. This eye cream, in fact, is vegan product. If you don't ask them what would have made it a no, and you're just like, okay, cool, I knew they didn't want it, right? How many times do we do that? Like, oh, I knew you'd be a no. I shouldn't have reached out. We prejudge people all the time. But if you don't know why they said no, you'll never maybe get to that yes. And in fact, it probably could be a yes, but you didn't ask the questions of what would make it a yes. So you don't know. So your content isn't going to hit any better. Does that make sense? I know, guys, I get fired up. I love sales. Sales is a gift. Like I was telling one of my clients the other day, a presentation is a present. You want it to be so good that you're literally gifting a present to someone tied with the most prettiest bow ever. We all know those friends that can like give you a gift and like just the presentation of it. You're like, this is so amazing. I don't want to open it, right? That's how your offers should be. I want you to think about that. When you're giving someone a present, when you're giving them your offer, product, service, whatever it is, I want it to be so beautifully wrapped, so nicely done. But you might miss things inside of it. You might have forgot the tissue paper, the confetti, the card. How many times, mommies, do you forget the card with the present on the way to the kid's birthday? In that case, you want to know what would have made it a yes. Okay. Another thing about content, and reaching out to your warm market. Are you ready for another great question? I promise you, these questions I still use to this day. You constantly want to get the other person talking. You know, it's like 70% them. It's the 70-30 rule. 70% them, 30% you. So if you're talking the whole time, you ain't winning. If they're talking the whole time, you're winning. Keep going. Make sure you stop, breathe. I actually have a Post-it note over there that says, shut up. Because I talk too much, right? I can talk people in and out of a sale like no one's business. We want to embrace the silence. What is the word? What is the thing your mom says? Silence is golden. It truly is when we're talking about being a sales girl for his glory. So I love to ask this question. In order to save time and see if this is a good fit, can you tell me more what you mean by that? Okay, so if someone's asking about your coaching or your products and you really don't have a lot of clarity on what they're asking, but you really want to save the time and give them exactly what they're asking for, you ask specifically, okay? So in order to save time and see if it's a good fit, can you tell me what you mean by that? What are they asking you for? What kind of products are they looking for? What kind of services? Like, what do they specifically want? And then this is the second clarifying question that I love on top of that because it makes them laser focused. Sometimes people don't know. They're verbal processors and they're like talking all over the place. And I jokingly say to my clients sometimes, I'm like, hey, there's no drunk driving here. Okay. Just ask me. My question is, and then ask the question, right? So when we ask this, like, can you tell me what you mean by that? Or if they've said something, you have zero clarity on it, which again, some people are verbal processors, so they write you a whole thing. And I say, tell me more what you mean by that. I hear you say, I'm stuck and I don't know how to get to the 7-figure mark, right? Reiterate to them the pain that they're telling you into a simple sentence. Is this, I hear you say that. I hear you say that you are stuck because you have inconsistent sales. Is that true? Yes. Okay. So what you need is to learn sales skills for his glory so that you can scale to your first 7 figures. Is that true? Yes. See how simple that is opposed to like, I don't know how to do social media and I don't know email funnels and They like get way caught in the weeds instead of looking at the big picture of like what they really need and then how can you help them? Because when you know exactly what their need is, then you exactly know if you can help them or if you can't and you need to lead them to someone else, which is also a blessing, you guys. You can't help everyone and not everyone is your ideal client. I'm going to say that again. You can't help everyone and not everyone is your ideal client. Back in the day, there was all these blanket statements in marketing, and now you can find very niche marketing is winning the day. Why? Because you're specifically speaking to someone. People that are speaking to everyone are speaking to no one. Those that are speaking to a specific niche, for instance, I do health and wellness with my husband. We're affiliates of a mental wellness company. I specifically am talking to perimenopausal women. Okay, do our products cover from kids to grandpas? 1,000%. If someone comes to me and they need something for their kids or their grandpas, I got you. But what I'm specifically speaking to are the perimenopause women sharing my specific story of not being able to lose the weight, not feeling myself after my 4th C-section, and finally finding a product that helped me get everything back in balance, and it was according to what was going on in my gut. Okay, so see how I'm going to draw in a lot of perimenopause women, and I'm also going to be able to help their kids or their parents, right? But I'm not speaking to the masses because I'm going to miss it. So think about how you are creating your content. Who are you speaking to? And then specifically, what are they wanting from you, right? Can you tell me more what you mean by that? I feel horrible. I cannot lose weight. Tell me specifically, what do you mean by that? What have you tried before? I hear you say you've tried everything. Have you truly worked on your gut? You just need to dig down and make this fun. Like, I know I have so much energy and excitement around this topic because I literally find it so fun. Sales equals fun in my book. Sales is stewarding what God's allowed me to do, and I want to steward it with excellence. So I absolutely love sales. There's nothing slimy about it. It's literally an exchange of energy, and my confidence and contagious, not vibe, I don't like the word, my contagious whole feeling of around what I have, that I know I have a solution for people's problems. If you're not passionate about what you're selling, then yeah, maybe it does feel slimy because you're like, I'm just trying to make a sale, feed my kids, or get the milestone in the business. Like, that's never been my thing. I would never, ever, ever in a day sell something I'm not 1,000% confident for, because if you've been here long enough, you know Allie does not do fake. Like, I can't fake nothing. I can't fake surprises. I can't fake pranks, anything. Like, I just start laughing. I just can't do it. None of my kids can either. It's really funny. Like, we literally just die in laughing if we try to pull a prank, or, I mean, all liars should have their part in like a fire. So I don't say white lies at all, because you know what? We're not doing any lying. But anyway, I'm just going to straight shoot you all the time. If you don't absolutely love what you're doing, it's going to come across 10 times stronger when you're trying to show up on social media, create this content. Like, my love for my inner circle and the women that I get to lead that are at the 6-7 figure mark into scaling with greater profit and more peace oozes from my pores. Like, you're probably nodding your head right now listening. Like, yeah, girl, we feel it. We can feel that content, just like how excited I am to help people, because I know I can do it. I know that my Floors Glory CEO method is exactly what they need to be able to scale, and be able to scale in such an amazing, godly way with such a firm foundation. So that fires me up. But I want you to take a look at where you are when you're talking to people, right? When we talk about warm outreach, that means the phone. Yeah, we're actually going to pick up the old phone. People love connection. And I know I probably lost half of you right there. Like, I'm not picking up my phone. Okay, fine. Text someone and get a phone call with them. Why? Shortens the learning curve. They can feel your excitement. You can answer all the questions, and you can close sales faster. I promise you, I still dial the phone. If y'all know, you know, because I'm going to set up a sales call with you, because it's going to help you and it's going to help me. And I love giving the spirit of excellence. Okay, so number one, we're going to master our warm outreach. We are going to sell one thing. We're talking about selling one thing to 1 million. And the first thing we're going to do, and we're going to master our warm outreach, we are going to work on our content, and we're going to do content that hits, because we're asking the right questions, and we want to know specifically what they're asking for. Hey, specifically, what are you loving about my content, about my retreat with Inner Circle? You know how many people I've asked that? A ton. That's why it rolls right off my tongue. I want to make sure your views, your likes, your comments, like, it's not that helpful. I mean, analytics are good, and I audit all my Inner Circle's accounts every single month. We do an audit, and I would say, hey, this looks like it's hitting. Look at this, like, maybe double down on this verbiage, all that kind of stuff. But here's, at the end of the day, nothing will tell you the metrics that you need, like getting on the phone with someone that's interested in and is an ideal client for you. Don't take feedback from people that aren't ideal clients from you. I would take feedback from my husband all the time. And one of my coaches says, Al, I love it, But like Joshua is not a 7-figure godly businesswoman looking for what you have. And I'm like, it's so true, right? Well, like ask our husbands or other people who aren't ideal clients for what your service or product is. And then you like take all their advice, which again, my husband's amazing. So there's a lot of verbal processing that goes on between us that just helps me. But at the end of the day, you want to make sure that you're taking the wisdom from people that are ideal clients when you're building this content. Make sense? Okay. And lastly, we're going to master sales. Why sales every single day? If you're not making sales, you're not having a business, right? We are business owners. What do business owners do? They bring money into the business. Okay. You see how emotional that is? There is zero emotion when I share that. I am a business owner. I bring money into my business every single day. That is important. What are people looking at every single day? They're looking at their numbers. Why? Their numbers are telling a story. Data over drama, right? When you look at your numbers, either they're growing or they're not growing, or they're going down. And if they're going down, that's going to tell you what's going on. We always want to see an increase in our numbers. What kind of numbers are we looking for? Well, if we're selling a product or a service, we want to see new leads come into our business, right? Every single day, you want to be tracking what new leads I have. And when people try to tell me, oh, I've already talked to everyone said no. Okay, tell me how many people you actually talked to. Okay, I talked to 5. Okay, so 5 people said no. Is that true? Well, yeah. Okay, great. So why don't we go talk to 5 more people and see if they need what you have? Okay, take the emotion out of it. I think that's why I love sales. I was raised with 3 brothers. I was the only girl, and girls can be highly emotional. I love you. I love the girl thing. I coach all women now. I do nothing for men. But sometimes we're so highly emotional and we take it so personally when we get a no. When really they're just like, here's my best analogy. I always taught my women in my first business. I helped over 4,000 women build businesses online. Okay, and one of my favorite analogy was to tell them, all right, so say we're out at a breakfast diner. I don't know, I lived in New York City and I lived right above this little diner in Union Square. It was amazing. So I think about the diner and I think about the waitress. She'd come around and pour the coffee. And sometimes people are like, oh, I'm good, right? And she wasn't like, no, take my coffee. No, I'm good. No, take my coffee. Why don't you want my coffee? Like, no, she just moves on to the next table, right? And sees that they need coffee. And the table after that and sees that they need coffee. So instead of getting all bent out of shape that someone doesn't want your coffee, go to the next table. Maybe they need a refill, or go to the next table. Maybe there's someone new that just walked in and didn't get a coffee the first time, right? Take the emotion out of sales and know that not everybody right now might be a good fit for your business, but that doesn't mean that they're not in the future. That's why the fortune is in the follow-up. But if you have any nasty towards sales, which is so fun because I just did a one-to-one call with this amazing company, this couple, they literally are doing $1 million a month in sales. So it's not that they need a lot of new leads, but at the end of the day, if you're not growing, you're dying. So yeah, you do at any price point, you want to have new leads and you want to have, and also by the way, it's exciting to reach out to new people and get to sell your programs and services. And especially if you believe in it. And this girl believes in this business, like it bleeds out of her pores. Well, her husband ain't a huge fan of the cold call, ain't a huge fan of sales whatsoever. So he's in a position where he's supposed to be doing this, but I love doing this amazing, amazing thing. If you ever do a one-to-one call with me, it is like one of the most amazing frameworks I've gotten from a coach that I hired. It's like a $20,000 certification, but the whole thing that like is mind-blowing is just a circumstance, how you feel about the circumstance, and then you walk them through this framework, and it literally just, it is what it is. And then you see it for what it's worth and realize, okay, this was a circumstance, but my thought about it was exactly how my feelings and then my actions and then my results, it all falls into line. And so I went through it with him and then I went through it with her, totally different feelings about sales, right? His thought was, his feeling was, don't want to do it. His action is not taking action. The results are no new sales. Hers was sales. Her thought about it was challenged. Her feelings about it was excited. Her actions about it was reaching out, doing cold calls, and the results were new sales. Okay, see how different those things are? It all starts in our thoughts at the end of the day. So we can talk about sell one thing to 1 million, do nothing but sell till we hit that million mark. But if you don't like selling, then you're going to be stuck in the mud and that ain't going to work. Even if you talk to your warm outreach and create all the content, you're not going to sell. So I probably should have put that at the beginning of the podcast, but that's okay because at least we put it in here towards the end. But what is your thoughts about selling? What is your thoughts behind mastering 3 things every single day warm outreach, content, and sales until you hit that first million. I hope it gives you some freedom. In all honesty, when my first coach said, like, do nothing but sell till you have $1 million in revenue, I'm like, perfect. I don't need to do all the other stuff right now. I just need to sell. I just need to sell this product. And you know what's funny? Not funny, but we just went to this all expense paid trip, incentive trip that I earned with our health and wellness business. And one of the trainings was amazing. This girl that's been in the industry for 26 years, she said, you know what? People are here for a fun time, but they're not here for a long time. And I'm like, that's pretty true. Then she kicks it with, and if people are happy and making money, they tell people, they talk. But if they're not happy and they're not making money, they ain't talking to nobody. I was like, that will preach for sales, right? If you're making money and you're happy, you're going to be sharing it with people. How does that happen, sales? Why am I fired up every single day? You know what? Because I have a Post-it note over there. Today, I am someone's answer. Today, you are someone's answer. Does that fire you up? Whatever product, service you have, whatever gift and talent God's given you to steward, you are the answer to someone's problem. Someone is stuck in the mud and you get to come out with your amazing Ford Raptor, hook them up to you and pull them out into the promised land. How does that not fire people up? Well, fear of man, imposter syndrome, people pleasing, all these negative things that if you're a godly businesswoman, that stuff can't play over here. Sorry. We're serving an audience of one. We know who we are and whose we are. And the confidence that we have in Christ Jesus makes us smile and dial every single day, knowing either it's a collab, right? We're going to collaborate with this person. It might be a connection to someone else that needs what we have, or they're going to be a client, right? A collaboration, a connection, or a client. That should fire you up and it should take all the pressure off you as well. There shouldn't be this white knuckling your way to sales, white knuckling your way to grow a business. It's not a scarcity thing, friends. There's billions of people on this earth. You will be connected to the right people. You know what? Jesus is a master networker. Master networker. Jesus, if you pray every single day, Father, put me on the hearts of the leaders I'm meant to lead. Father, send them from the north, the south, the east, and the west. Father, put me on the hearts of those godly businesswomen that need a mentor in biblical principles that will help them scale greater profits and help them increase their peace, help them have marriages made in heaven, help them love being a present mommy. Like, I pray these things all the time. So I'm not shocked and surprised when people are like, I literally just binged your podcast and I just knew that you were the one that I needed in this season. I just knew the inner circle were the women that I'm meant to grow with. What an honor. What a privilege. Well, there's prayer behind that. And there's also me mastering warm outreach, letting all my people know what I'm doing, right? Here's a good litmus test. Go ahead today and ask your inner circle, your parents, your friends, brothers, sisters, your besties, if they know exactly what you do. Friends, this summer, we live off the grid at our ranch. And we were just out on the porch and I go to my brother-in-law and sister-in-law. I'm like, do you guys know what exactly I do with For's Glory CEO, specifically my inner circle? And it was funny because my brother's like, pink, you wear a lot of pink and you help people scale. I'm like, yes and amen. And then my sister-in-law had a similar thing, not about the pink, but she's like, you help women grow their businesses and scale their businesses. I'm like, yes. But you know what's so cool? That they did actually know that. But I think a year ago, when I first got started, I don't think people had a whole lot of clarity around my brand. And that's normal, friends. Brand awareness isn't like an overnight thing. And nothing is an overnight success. Hear me right now. Do not compare your chapter 20 or your chapter 1 to my chapter 20. I've been at this for a long time. I have been doing this for a long time. I've just got a whole lot more nose than you. And I just keep myself fired up because I love Jesus. And I feel called according to his purposes to do this. And this is my marketplace ministry. And I love it, right? I get out of bed every single day, honored and blessed to get to do what I do. And if you're not there, you guys, we've talked about that in an episode. The grace might have lifted, and I've been there too. I've been in a business that was a dead-end business, and I was like, Lord, deliver me. Like, this is bringing zero joy, and it's just so much ego and so much pride and not building each other up. And it was just like not where I wanted to be anymore, and the God delivered me from it. Praise God. So and I told you about nursing. I was a nurse, and I loved that career until all of a sudden I had my own 1-pound miracle baby that was home on oxygen and monitor, had congenital heart disease, was going into heart failure, all the things. And then the grace lifted for me to love what I was doing as a pediatric ICU nurse, because now my daughter needed her mommy home to be her nurse. So know where you are in that as well, because that is a very real thing. And God closes doors sometimes, right? And he gives and takes away. And sometimes it's like, okay, that's gone, but what's next? Be excited. Be excited about the what's next. Why? Because y'all gonna do nothing but sell to 1 million in revenue. And you're going to remember revenue in first position. Don't you dare go post and pray. Don't you dare. What are you even posting? Do you even know that that's what the people want from you? You wouldn't know unless you connected with them. You got to connect, and make that content. How do you connect? You pick up the phone. All right, friends, I hope you love this one, because I love it. And I love being a sales girl. If you need help with your sales, I do one-to-one calls too, one-off outside of my programs and offers. And I promise you, you will leave those calls ready to make that first million, because there's nothing but confidence and energy that's going to be infused into your bones to go get it done. But I pray today, remember, I made a call to action before we even started this episode. Please go sell something today. Today you are someone's answer. You've been tuning in to For His Glory CEO podcast, where unshakable faith meets bold business strategy to equip you for your next level. If this blessed you, please subscribe, leave a review, and share it. And if you're a businesswoman that's looking for the right circle to scale big, we got you. Click the show notes and hear more about our For His Glory CEO community, which is one of a kind, amazing. And remember, we're not just building businesses, we're building the kingdom of God. Until next time.